In this video, I'll be showing you how to detect collision within Unity. Let's get started. In the last video, I showed you how to get key inputs and a simple way to get components. In this video, I'll be showing you how to do collision. So what you want to do first is create a new script called collision, or we can go on the same script as before, but I want to keep it separate. And I've just made separate folders for what we've made so far: materials, scenes, and scripts. So go in the scripts folder, right click, and create a new C# script. I'm gonna name mine collision script. Script, no S, collision script. And open it up in Visual Studio. Once you're in C# Studio, sorry, Visual Studio, not C# Studio, Visual Studio, this is where you should be seeing a few classes, start and update. What I'm gonna do is get rid of both classes. We won't be needing them for now. And we're gonna create a new class. And this is the collision class, where it detects collision in 3D and 2D. They're similar for 2D and 3D, but not quite. So for 3D, we use on collision enter. And you can see there are all the options of on collision enter, on collision enter 2D, hence the name. This is used for 2D, and then exit, and then stay. So we're going to be going through each one of them in this video. So double clicking on collision on enter, and you'll get this brand new class. I will explain each part so you won't get confused. So from the name of the class, what we can see is private void on collision enter, collision and collision. So the first part, as I said before, this just means it will show up in the inspector, but not quite the case over here. A private class means that it can only be accessed within this script. And if you take this private away, meaning that this script can be accessed out of this class. So you can interlink different scripts together and create in combination an entire system to do something. So then the next one, void, means that it won't return anything. And you will see many of the coding tutorial people saying this, it won't return anything, but you don't quite get what that means. So basically, it gives a value and takes that value and use it over here. It doesn't give a value back. So what this one is doing is it's taking the collision data and saving it over here. It's not giving it back, it's saving it. And then hence we can use this saved data to manipulate whatever we want to do. So the next part is just the name of the class on collision enter. This is what you will need to detect collision using code in Unity. And this is like the variable names. So for example, public game object, and we can name it game object. Whatever, something like this. This is the same. This is what type is in here. The type over here is game object. If you remember from our variables video, I'll be putting a card on the top right corner of the video. And this is doing the exact same thing, but for collision. It's basically saving a variable named collision into a type of a variable called collision. Same with the game object. And the last part is just the name. So now that you know what it means, you can utilize this to do some pretty interesting stuff. For example, you can do something like this. When your player, the cube, collides with an enemy, or vice versa, the other object gets destroyed on collision. You can create something like this to simulate damage or the death of your character. And for the code part, that's all there is. One line again. So let me explain all this. Destroy, based on what it means already, destroys the collision dot game object. So it destroys whatever collides with this. Remember, saved in this collision variable is the data of the object we collided with. So we're gonna destroy getting the data of that game object. So destroying the other game object that we collided with. In this case, it's a sphere, the circle. So when it drops down, when it hits us, it gets destroyed. If we use the same code but just change the enter into exit, and let's see what happens. We'll run the code, and oh sorry, I ticked is trigger over there by accident, so let me untick that, and boom. Is that what we expected? It doesn't get destroyed because it's only entering the cube, not exiting. For exiting, you can do something like this. Yep, that looks kind of weird, but if you do something like this, makes the ball fall from the cube, and you will see that when I run the game, it gets destroyed because it's leaving its collision area. So something else you can do is, if we get the ball, drag it up, and we run the game, but then we pause it. So let me run the game, and we pause it quickly, and you can see that if I drag the ball through, it will get destroyed. Let me go game, and there we go. And let me get the ball quickly. Boom. There we go. When it leaves the collision area of the ball, it gets destroyed, like I've just shown you over there. And as for the last one, this one is currently checking every time per like physics frame. What a physics frame is, basically you have different classes like update, like the one you saw at the start, and then you got fixed update. This is what we usually call like the physics frame rate, because this is doing it, like this is what is the physics engine is doing. It's doing how many frames per second. I think it's 100 or something. So it's basically doing the calculations behind the scene 100 times per frame. I think that's how it works, or 100 times per second. And this is only doing it according to your frame rate. So on collision.stay is basically saying every frame check if it's colliding. So if we run this code, go back to Unity, okay, and run the game. Okay, that was bad. Let me run the game again. If you see the ball drop and it gets destroyed, because it's constantly checking if something is colliding with it. It doesn't matter if it's exiting, entering, just touching it or just destroy it. If you see again. Oh wow. Unity giving me a hard time right here. Will you please load? Oh, I guess not. Technical difficulties. I'll get you back after it has loaded. So now we're back. My Unity crashed and I had to redo some of the stuff, but I think we're all good. There we go. On collision stay is just always checking 100 times per frame. Okay, let's move on. Another way to detect collision in Unity is by ticking this trigger box little here, and I have made an experiment where one box on the bottom has the trigger ticked and the other one doesn't. So let's see what happens. As you can see, the one on the right here has the is trigger ticked, so it no longer has a collider, it's only a trigger. Nothing will collide with it, but the left side will be the one that actually collides with it, because it's not a trigger, it's just a collider. So if you look on the box, this one is not ticked and this is ticked, so the one with the is trigger ticked will no longer collide. Like, you won't have a physical collider box, but you will have the same collider with the box, but it's just that when it enters this trigger, it gets triggered instead of colliding with it. So let's get into the code. To use is trigger, basically you do everything the same, but instead you do on trigger instead of on collision, and the same enter, on trigger exit, and the same on trigger stay. What is different is that it's collider instead of collision. So then everything else is the same. And this you can really name it anything. So you can name it for example, flower. It will stay the same because it's just a name for it. You can name it virtually anything. It's good to give it descriptive names, but I'm just using it as an example here. So if we go back to Unity, you will see that, and if we connect the scripts to the player, so collision script there and collision script there. So as usual, on the left is without its trigger, and on the right is with its trigger. So it will only work if you tick the box. So for example, the one on the left right here, if I click on this and click its trigger, the ball will disappear because it's falling through the mesh or the collider, and it's a trigger box, so it will disappear. For the trigger, it's much more easier to demonstrate the exit and stay as it has no actual collision to it. So on trigger exit, there we go. Save it, go back to Unity, let it load a bit. So same experiment. This one doesn't have a is triggered, so it's just a normal collider, and the one on the right has a is trigger. So let's see. Same thing, what you would expect. It's only gotten destroyed when it's exit the box. So with the other one, it got destroyed up here on the top, and with this, it got destroyed on the bottom. I can demonstrate it again by selecting the player 2, which is the left box, and selecting is trigger. You'll see the ball falls through the box and gets destroyed on the way out. And last but not least, on trigger stay. On trigger stay is basically like the on collision, so it will get destroyed when the cube touches it, as well as exiting, so it can be used as an area for something that always checks. So same as usual, this one only get destroyed when it touches it because it's always checking. But if I pause the game scene and then just drag the ball like over there and then tick the is trigger box, you will see that it still gets destroyed because it's falling down. We didn't quite get to see it, but you get the point. So the stay for collision and trigger is always checking like 100 times per frame. So that is all in this tutorial. We have learned how to use on trigger and on collision to create some very interesting stuff. So you can utilize this in combination with what you already know to create your own game. That's all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.